Right when I started the business, first thing I told my dad, like, oh, Dad, I quit. He said to me, if you're going to do something, do it wholeheartedly. Just don't look back, go in wholeheartedly. Like between me and my business partner, we were doing accounting, marketing, sales, dispatching, basically everything.
So like whenever there's a dispute, like what happens if there's a dispute?
We just take it to the parking lot and just scrap it out. Like it's gonna be easy peasy. We're gonna get a customer in line. We're gonna be rolling in dough. These guys loaded it incorrectly, and the trailer basically snapped in the middle.
Wait, what? How long have we known each other for?
Damn, probably about 18 years.
I think you're giving my age away. I'm actually 19, so.
Oh man, oh man. I'm not trying to catch a charge out here.
No, it's crazy. We've known each other for 18 years, dude.
Yeah, wild.
That's shocking. That's more than half my life, actually. I don't think I had more than friends. I don't think I would have friends for more than half my life, let alone friends for 18.
Yeah.
In 2 more years, it'll be 2 decades.
It's 18 years too long.
Yeah, I know. I hate this guy. Before we get into more of the nitty gritty of this podcast, why don't you introduce yourself about where you come from, what you currently do, and who you are as a person?
Right. So I have my own third-party logistics company. I've been doing that for over 8 years. We've worked with huge companies such as Red Bull, BioSteel, Prime, Celsius, basically all the major energy drink products. We've expanded our revenue, uh, basically doubled every year. And right now we're doing well for ourselves. I mean, between me and my business partner, we're doing well, and we look forward to this year and hopefully double again.
You know when your parents were South Asian, right? Your parents have the little thing that we do before you're born, right? They usually leave money, they leave either a toy or they leave a book. When you crawl towards the book, they be like, oh, he's gonna be smart. And if you crawl towards the money, he's gonna be rich. And if you crawl towards anything else, he's a failure, right? And that's just usually what it means. Be honest here. Did someone leave a truck in any of those files? Was that something you're looking
It's funny that you say that. Like there probably was a dump truck or a toy truck there at one point, and I did gravitate towards that one. But I probably ended up walking backwards
Yeah.
and missing all those toys anyways. Yeah, so it's
So like as a kid, like did you always have this fascination of owning your own business, or was it something that came up afterwards?
so it was something that I kind of grew up with, because my dad was a business owner. He had his own logistics company, so it was kind of natural. Like I would see him do his business. I'd go out with him on his business. He had a bunch of trucks, right? The warehouse and everything. So it was kind of like a natural progression. It's something that's always been in my mind, in my life. And it kind of just felt like a very easy transition when I made the move to start my own logistics company. It was kind of something that was already there. But I did, I did move around from different schools, try different things. Like I have my BBA in global business management. I have my recognition of achievement in digital marketing management, sorry. And then I have my certification in project management as well. But all of it did lead to my entrepreneurship and becoming basically who I am today.
So to summarize, you fancy. You fancy.
We're trying.
We're trying. No, man, that's the list of accomplishments you just mentioned just makes me, don't tell my parents that. They'll be very disappointed in me. So, no, big ups to you, man. And honestly, just having your own business. What's some things that you found challenging when starting to jump into that? For obviously when you start off anything from the scratch, essentially, there's challenges, there's hurdles, there's obstacles. What was something that you found very challenging going from school? You've obviously worked somewhere in the industry, and you obviously made that jump over to dispatching. Obviously working the truck.
So out of school from my co-op, I did work at a logistics company, and then I got one of my close friends hired at the logistics company as well. And we would go every day. We would talk during lunch, right? We would just hang out. And we kind of realized, why are we lining somebody else's pockets? Let's just quit. Let's do it ourselves. So we both quit around the same time, probably about a week apart. And then we never looked back. So I remember right when I started the business, first thing I told my dad, like, oh, Dad, I quit. He's like, okay, what are you going to do? Like I told him my whole plan. I broke it down for him. And I said, or he said to me, if you're going to do something, do it wholeheartedly. Just don't look back, go in wholeheartedly. And that's like basically advice that I always live by. When it comes to business, lifestyle, anything, just do things wholeheartedly. But yeah, so the biggest transition coming out of school, going into the workforce and starting my own is probably the amount of effort it takes. So your success is directly correlated to the work you put in. If you want to put in zero work, you're going to get zero success. So if you want to be up 6 a.m. making phone calls, messaging, emails, that's directly tied to you and your success. So it does, the trade-off is, yeah, you have to put in more hours and more work, and sometimes you don't have time for everything. But just by putting in that 110% work, you know it's going to come back to you at some point.
Yeah, just to go back to your point earlier and just to, make that full circle moment. You obviously work for somebody, right? And I'm sure most people would say working for somebody sucks. And I'm just gonna say that right now. It sucks.
Yeah, it wasn't the
And
greatest.
it's just you're someone else's donkey essentially, right? And now obviously you're your own donkey, and you get to, I'm gonna say ride yourself to success, but you get to work yourself to until you see that the end of the tunnel. The reason why I bring this up is that when you made that jump from being, an employee to being your boss, right? There is tons of hours you went in. Well, if we were to highlight one particular challenge that was like, something you wouldn't have guessed being an employee, but now being your own boss, this is definitely like the forefront of problems. And how did you sort of overcome that? Or even if you haven't overcome it, maybe it's something you did to provide remedy to it.
Right. So very early on, like I was saying earlier, the biggest transition is also like your success and how it relates to your work. But it's also just that you have to do everything yourself. Like between me and my business partner, we were doing accounting, marketing, sales, dispatching, basically everything. And we were like probably spreading ourselves thin at some points, right? We were just doing everything. We weren't really outsourcing a lot of things. We were trying to do everything ourselves, keep everything in house. So the biggest challenge of that is just knowing that you have to do those things, but maybe you can ask for help too. Like, don't be afraid to ask for help when you're starting out, because like we're all doing this for the first time as well. And going a little bit of help goes a long way. So that's one thing I wish I would have done earlier. Just ask for a little bit of help here and there. But overall, I mean, that's probably one of the biggest challenges. Just trying to like feeling that you have to do everything.
No, I 100% agree. I think that once you start outsourcing things, and obviously those things you learn over time as you work on your own business. Because I don't think, even for myself, I absolutely hate editing. And that's something that I disregard. And I absolutely have two lovely gentlemen here doing the editing for me.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna give them a shout out right now, but them guys are good. So
They do great so far.
I think outsourcing definitely makes sense a lot
Yeah.
because it takes away, the time that you can focus on things that you need to do, right?
Yeah.
I have a billion and one things that I could think about that I could do rather than being like, I gotta put together some marketing material for X, Y, and Z. Or I have to figure out how does our payroll work? Like how do I, it's just there's tons of things you probably have to figure out on your own. Rather than just being like, what, I'm just gonna pay someone else to do it. How much do you need? And how much take this off my plate?
Yeah, it's not even just about the money. It's more just about freeing up a bit of your time.
Yeah, time is
like so you
invaluable.
can focus on your core competencies and then try to figure out everything else later.
Yeah.
Like accounting, hire an accountant. Like we're lucky enough that we kind of know about everything because that's what we both went to school for. But overall, like that's what I would say. Like, don't be afraid to ask for help. It's not you versus everybody else. Like, people are willing to help if you ask.
There's a reason why I'm smiling. I hope just so you know, I'm smiling for a reason. You said it was just you and your friend, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you and I forgot his name.
Andrew.
Andrew. Andrew, if you're watching this video, don't beat me up. I know Andrew actually. Y'all have HR?
We are HR. We are everything.
So like, whenever there's a dispute, like what happens if there's a dispute?
Well, we just take it to the parking lot and just scrap it out. No, it's actually been great. So we've been working together for over 8 years now, and there's probably never been a major issue.
Wow.
He's just a very calm guy, chill guy, and we kind of just feed off of each other's energies, right? So like, he's like, "Oh, maybe we should try it this way." Okay, let's try it. Let's see how it goes.
Or the parking lot.
Yeah, or 3 o'clock parking lot.
Did you have ever like I'm sure most people when they start off any business or anything that they do in life, even for myself, I'm on this podcast for the very first time, and obviously talking to you, Manj, I have imposter syndrome. Is that something that you had yourself when starting your own business, when making that jump from being an employee to being your own boss?
Yeah, you kind of do feel like you're something that you're not,
Mm-hmm.
like, 'cause you don't know anything yet either. Like, I only took whatever I learned from my previous job experience, a little bit from school. I learned more from the actual job itself, though. But you do feel like this is not me. This is not the path. But then things start to click, and then you realize that this is my path. This is what I was meant to do, and we've been doing it for, like I said, over 8 years.
You guys are killing it.
I guess everything's been great.
No,
It's been a blessing. It's honestly been a blessing.
for people who don't know, they're doing great. But that's besides the point. Like you guys have definitely have achieved things that most people would dream about, and I think the hardest step for anybody to starting their own business is making that first step, right? Making that
Yeah, making the jump.
making that jump, and sometimes that jump is into the abyss,
Mm.
and you have no idea what you're doing, and when people ask you, "Hey, do you know what you're doing?" and you're just like, "Ah, nah, just-"
We're all learning at the same
Yeah.
time, right? Every time a new challenge comes up, we have to, take a minute, figure out how are we gonna approach this.
What are some misconceptions that you have about owning your own dispatching company?
Misconceptions. I remember when we first started, we're like, we're gonna get a customer a month. Like it's gonna be easy peasy. We're gonna get a customer a month. We're gonna be rolling in dough. It's gonna be easy. And then we we get into it. We're like, damn, we probably got one customer in 6 months.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't a month like we thought, and we thought it was just gonna be very easy. Everything was just gonna be handed to us, but you have to put the work in. So that's one of the biggest misconceptions. You have to put the work in. It goes for any entrepreneur or just somebody that's looking to start their own business. If you're not willing to put the work in, it's not going to come back to you.
No, 100%. I think that's the best piece of advice you can get to anybody that's starting out, especially anyone from university. Maybe it's their first job, maybe it's their first take on just the field itself. Just being able to make that sort of leap of
I think a lot of people are scared. Like, I don't know when I'm ready to make that
yeah.
step. But you just have to feel it. Like, if it doesn't work out,
YOLO?
if it doesn't work out, maybe try something different. Try
Yeah.
improvising your strategies, revising your marketing plan, your sales strategies. Figure it out somehow, but don't just quit because it's getting a little difficult.
You're doing well in your business. You obviously know what you're doing. I know little about dispatch. I actually did dispatching for IKEA, ironically.
Yeah. I remember you telling me this.
Good days. I would just make routes, and then they would always complain to me, be like, "This is so much longer than his." I'm like, "Dude, you go to Toronto." I was like, "I don't care. It's just so much longer." I'm like, "Dude, it just makes sense."
One of the big challenges initially is just trying to understand how everything works. Like some of these drivers are very rude. They don't care. They've been driving for 10, 11 hours, right? They just want sometimes they just want to go home, do nothing, come back next day, reset. And if they're having a bad day, you kind of just gotta let them have a bad day, right? You can't talk them out of it. They're not
You
gonna.
can give them a worse day.
Yeah. Like you gotta drive to California right now.
I don't know if I told you yet. You don't have no job anymore. Just kidding.
So one of the biggest challenges is just trying to feel everything out. Like for
Yeah.
the first couple months, you're trying to like understand everything. You want to be perfect, perfect, perfect. It's not going to be perfect.
For sure.
Nothing is like going to be super ideal, but you have to make it work. So we had a couple challenges, like we had trucks catch on fire. Luckily, we've had like no theft or anything, but we did have, I think, 2 trailers catch on fire.
Exploding trucks.
Yeah, literally.
That's crazy.
The guy felt something hissing in his truck, and he hopped out. He was at a gas station. He
Yeah.
hopped out, and he walked maybe 20 feet away, and he looked back, and the car was exploded.
Oh my God.
So they called us. They're like, "Oh, by the way, all your freight's damaged." And we're like, "Okay, like we have to take a minute,
Yeah.
slow down. How are we gonna approach it?" First, like you have to tell the customer.
It's your inventory's gone.
Yeah, $100,000 of your freight is in flames.
That's nerve wracking.
Yeah, so we had to tell the customer. Luckily, they were understanding. Things happen. That's why you have insurance. So that was one of the bigger challenges initially, just trying to figure out how to slow down a little bit. Don't freak out. Just try to make it work. Like if we start freaking out, the client will freak out. So we have to approach them very calm. Hey, this is what happened. This is how we're gonna deal with it. We have everything in place. Our apologies, this happened. We do regular safety checks on all the vehicles. You have to just, bring them back down a little bit because obviously it's a big deal.
I'm not gonna lie. If I was a customer, I'd be like, "Yo,
You'd be in flames too?
nah." I'd be like, "Oh, can I get 20% off on the next shipment?" man?"
Yeah, we did actually think about that. So me and Andrew sat down and we're like, okay, so how are we gonna rectify the situation? Should we give them a discount? Next one? Should we just say like,
It's longevity, right? Yeah.
yeah, because you want to retain the customer, and that's also one of the biggest challenges too, retaining a customer, because people don't realize how much work goes into keeping the customer. You can get the customer, sure, to keep the customer, keep them happy, to keep them coming back to you. You have to be better than the next guy.
Would you say? I'm sure you've heard this in school because you obviously, my parents would be proud of you than me at this point. Would you say the statement that a new customer costs way more than retaining an old customer?
It does cost a lot to get that new customer, but nobody wants to stay stagnant, right? You want to get more and more business, more customers, more freight. So it does cost a lot, but it costs a lot in terms of time, because it doesn't cost a lot of money to get a client, but it does cost you your time, like schedule the meetings, make sure everything's okay. Like you're still trying to run the business at the same time, but now you have to do all these meetings in between and try to make it work around their schedule. and you have to show them like they're the most important client, not the guys that you already have.
Yeah, so it's always the pick me attitude.
Yeah,
my baby is the most important baby in the world. And you're just
I
like,
mean, if somebody's gonna give you
Yeah.
another X amount of dollars, they need to know why should I choose you guys over somebody else.
no, for sure. It's the reason I made that baby joke was that I've worked in sales as well, and it's always the same person saying my baby is the most important baby in the world. You're like, dude, I have 15 people at my door saying the same story that my baby is very important. I get it. Everyone's baby is very important.
And that's
I
the
have
thing.
2 hands. I can
But
only
you have to cater to everybody's needs.
exactly.
One person might need temperature control, and one person's probably just very basic freight. You have to cater to everything.
And what are some challenges with being able to cater? Is it more so that you have to find solutions that fit all, or is it one shoe that kind of provides that
It's more just catering to their needs.
Yeah.
So if they need a special requirement, let's say temperature controlled, that's something that they need for their shipments, right? Correct. But it's like you have to show them, I can do this. I can do it whenever you need me. Not just like once a week. What if they have 2 or 3 times a week? You have to show them that you're reliable, and you have to find guys that are also reliable. So you can't just find a guy that's going to do it one time and then you can't find that guy. You need to make sure the guy, he can do X amount of shipments, so you can maintain it. You can lock it in for the future.
So he can't run away and stuff.
Hopefully, you can't drive away. You can't set his truck on
Lock
fire.
him in. Like, oh, you did one truck, you locked. You good?
But that's what it's about, just trying to separate yourself from the pack and know that you are in your own lane. It's kind of hard to ignore everybody else in the industry, but you know what you do and you know what you bring to the table, and you just have to do your best every day.
I'm gonna ask you something very, very a bit more off the dome here. How much of it? I only say this because I'm obviously doing something new with myself here, right? And this is the very first episode.
A new venture.
And how much did you feel like you were winging it? Like you had an idea. Well, you definitely have
Pretty much all of it. Pretty much 90% of it. Like, because like I said, we started like we're gonna get a customer a month.
Yeah.
It didn't happen that way.
Yeah.
We're like, okay, we're gonna send out 500 LinkedIn messages. Probably sent out maybe 100. We're gonna cold call 100 people a day, maybe call like 3, but then you kind of get serious about it.
Yeah.
Like first, like I said, you're feeling it out, then you get a little serious.
It's the momentum.
Yeah, and then you're like, you know what? If I want this to work, I have to do it. So yeah, basically just
wing
it.
Fake it till you make it.
A little bit. Like, because we did have experience from the previous job.
Yeah.
We basically learned how it works, but then when you start doing it yourself, it's a
whole
completely different ballgame.
Yeah. It's funny, we mentioned ball game. The Raptors suck, unfortunately.
We are gonna get Cooper Flight,
Yeah, and I'm hoping so. Let's hope he comes through. Unless we'll just knock on wood. Knock on wood. What was the obviously there's business realities and there's tons of different stuff that goes into running your own business. What was you work client facing, right? So you have your own clients that you work with. I'm sure you have tons of lists of clients that you do work with. Just to make it very simple, who's your favorite client and who's the absolute nut job?
One of my favorite clients is they do a lot of like beverages.
Okay.
So like BioSteel, Prime, like those kind of energy drinks, and it's fun. Like
how much is the Prime still coming through Canada? Because I feel like
it's slowing down lately, but it is fun. Like because you get to know that your products are making a difference to somebody's life somewhere. Sports facilities, athletes, like it's changing somebody's life, or it's at least helping them some way. So that's one of my favorite products. One of my least favorite customers, they do like sauces, like like barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
But they're just like very demanding.
Yeah.
They'll call me at like 10 p.m. and be like, I need a truck for 7 a.m. I'm like, you had all day to tell me this, but you waited till 10 p.m.
Yeah.
So they would call at weird times. I'm up at weird times. Lose sleep sometimes over it, and then
over some sauce.
And then you don't really get a thank you at the end either. It's not like I'm doing all this work and there's, oh, thanks, man. I really appreciate you guys helped us out.
It's funny because
day moves on and then next day.
I'm only laughing because it's a sauce guy.
Yeah, it's like like those like jerk seasoning, like things like that. It's like they do all those kind of sauces.
Yeah.
So that's probably my least favorite at the moment. Hopefully it changes.
What's the craziest story you've had other than the truck blowing?
The truck blowing up was definitely up there. At that same one with the sauces, we had a trailer there. And the trailer bent in half. These guys loaded it incorrectly, and the trailer basically snapped in the middle. And they're like, "Oh, it wasn't our fault." And I'm like, "It's on your property. It was your loading guys. Whose else's fault?"
You think I loaded it? I showed up and
I wasn't even there. I didn't even see the truck. So that dispute went on for probably about half a year. We were going back and forth with them trying to figure out the value of the truck, and they didn't want to pay it. They just kept saying, no, it wasn't our fault. We're not going to pay X amount of dollars. You guys should have maintained all your trucks first. And eventually settled on whatever they settled on. But that whole process took about 6 months.
6 months of just going back and forth on.
And it was just sitting. It was sitting in their yard, taking up a dock space.
So they're just inheriting the incurring costs on that.
Yeah. So for 6 months, it's sitting on their dock, tying up one dock.
Can't use that dock for anything.
Can't
else.
use that dock now. So now they're down the dock, and
they're losing shipments already.
Not necessarily losing shipment, but every other shipment is going to take
much longer because you're waiting on a dock. Yeah.
So they created a backlog. Everyone was asking for waiting time. So it just kind of became like a little nightmare situation.
Did you ever have a client just show up to your house and be like, "Hey, man"?
No, I don't disclose.
Smart guy.
No.
Could you imagine?
We do get the calls. Oh, like, where's my freight?
Yeah.
This, that.
Like, I don't know, man. It's in China, bro.
I'm like, give me a minute. Let me track it, and I'll call you back. Like, I try to be very calm at work. Like, unless it's a very serious situation. Like, I think I probably yelled maybe once or twice at a driver in 8 years.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Like, I try to be very calm because, like I said, when you're calm, everyone else tries to maintain.
You set the tone of how you want to be talked.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
This is, at the end of the day, it's my business, it's Andrew's business. So it's like we want to present ourselves in a certain way. We want to make ourselves like reliable, calm, the go-to guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't want to be hot-headed and everyone's like, oh, they have a rep of just being angry at everyone. No, like that's not how we are, right? Like,
but you owe me money right now, man. You owe me.
Yeah. So basically, like, it's just about being calm, like taking things as they come.
Yeah.
There's always a solution for everything. Like in the moment, it might not seem like there's a solution. Just give it like an hour, 2 hours, let it calm down a little bit. We'll come back to it. There's always a solution.
So obviously, we went to school together, and I don't think we talk about this enough, right? And the reason why we don't talk about this enough is I think most people disagree with this fact, but it is facts. I'm the tallest person you met.
You were definitely up there.
Yeah. A lot of people don't think that.
Yeah, there was Anthony Bennett.
Yeah.
Chris Margis.
Yeah, there we go, man. There we go. People just didn't give me enough credit back then. They just kept saying I was 5'7".
Yeah, you could have made NBA.
That could have been the NBA.
They
just didn't let me go, man. I was really disappointed back then. Anthony Bennett was actually in our classes, actually. Yeah. Funny story. Anthony Bennett used to be in I think it was my law class, I believe, or one of my business classes. He was so big in grade 9.
Huge.
We gave him a separate desk to sit in, and he had to sit in front of the class.
It's like the airplane. Yeah. Like you buy 2 seats. They have
we're all sitting in the cubby, and this dude's sitting on this giant desk, and he's in front of a class, and I'm like, in grade 9, I'm like, why does he get to sit over? He looks like a dude. He looks like a man.
That's the future first round, first pick.
Yeah, he's a first rounder when you see that dude 6'6" in grade 9. Was he 6'6" in grade 9 or 6'3"?
I'm not sure about grade 9, but
he was tall as hell.
When he was drafted, I think he was around 6'7".
Yeah, he was tall. Like, being tall is one part, and then being like
big.
Yeah,
he was like muscular.
Yeah, he looked like a man. Yeah. I was still 6'5".
Yeah, so Anthony Bennett.
I'm gonna keep running with that joke. Anyone disagrees with me, I'll find you where you live. While we were in school, and then, for me, like, I never thought, I wanted to be a CA, right? That was something that I was very passionate about. I wanted to follow accounting, and that was kind of like my acumen that I wanted to pursue. None of that stuff happened.
It changes very quickly.
Yeah, I switched degrees 3 times at university, and then I realized one thing that my biggest takeaway and what I realized, and I don't know if this is applicable to yourself as well, is that I found that I'm good at things, but I don't like those things.
Right.
I dislike most.
You get bored very quickly.
I get bored so quick. I'm like, I'm good at numbers. Yeah, I'm good at numbers, but it doesn't mean that I'd like to do math every day.
Yeah.
I want to go into finance and be a Wall Street guy. I realize that's also numbers.
You're at Toronto.
And now I'm like, damn. And now I'm in marketing. I minored in finance, or like might as well, because I was already like 4 courses in.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, it changes a lot, right? Through high school, you have an expectation of who you want to be, what you want to be. I think very few people actually stick to what they want to be. Like, I could probably name a handful of people that are probably on the same trajectory they were in high school.
That's true. No, actually, some people that are actually you're right. There are a few people that I very recall that were like, I'm going to be a doctor, I'm going to be a nurse, and they follow through.
Yeah. I mean, once you go to a college, university, it does change your perception a bit. Yeah. And you kind of realize maybe that's not what I want to do. And it's okay. It's not a bad thing.
It's a terrible thing for your parents.
Yeah, your parents. Doctor, lawyer.
No, bro, you're getting out.
Engineer, doctor, lawyer.
You're getting disowned.
Yeah, when you tell them you want to open up a small business.
Could you tell your parents you're studying biology at like University of Toronto, and then like 2 years in, you're like, you know,
I want to open a bakery.
I'm gonna go open up Osmos.
Yeah. I mean, shout out Osmos, they're killing it.
So Osmos, if you're looking at this is a great time to sponsor me. I currently don't take sponsorships, but if you are willing to listen, you can holler at your boy.
This is true.
It's true. Actually, it's crazy. I used to be a big Osmos fan. I still am. Still am.
They're sponsoring the ball runs. After every ball run, these guys go to Osmos and get chicken on the rocks.
Our league.
Yeah, they go and get chicken on the rocks at 10 p.m. You know?
You hear this? We have actual buyers who are willing to buy Osmos after a basketball game.
At almost midnight. They should be sleeping, but Osmos is on their mind.
I don't know if that speaks more about them or Osmos. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. It goes both ways.
The reason why I brought up the whole school thing, and the reason why that's very important, is that I feel like a lot of people who go to school for certain topics, like I went to school for 3 different topics, and I obviously didn't realize what I liked until probably closer to the end of it, right? I think the challenge that I've noticed, and you can obviously, you know, you've lived on campus with the guys before. What was your experience from like being in that environment and going to school in that environment, and then obviously realizing, hey, you know, I'm going to pursue certain other topics. Maybe it's business, global business, blah, blah. English is always a hard language for me. Global business management, marketing, and all that stuff.
Right. So living on campus, you're having fun with your friends. Like every day kind of seems like a little party. But it does make you a little lazy too, though. So like you don't show up to classes. You miss a few things. It kind of just goes a little bit downhill. It's a slippery slope, right? Like you have to be very on top of yourself. If you're gonna live on campus or like off campus, like student residence, you have to be very on top and discipline your mind because it's a challenge. It's different.
It's crazy you
Like-
missed this because you're asking 17-year-olds to be,
Yeah, that's
yo, I need you to be disciplined right
that's
now.
what I was just about to say. You're a 17, 18-year-old student,
Yeah.
the first time probably in the world by yourself, and you're expected to have like super high expectations, like do this, do this, do this. And the reality is it's probably not going to happen that way.
Sure.
Because like I said, you do get a little lazy. You realize like I can probably do it online or I'll catch up later. But then, like I said, it leads into one thing, and then you kind of just lose more motivation, and yeah, it's tough.
How was your
Tough
experience?
part.
How was your experience at Sheridan then?
Sheridan was completely different. I love Sheridan. So like I went to Sheridan for almost probably 10 years. Like I said, global business management, digital marketing,
You went to
project
school. You went to Sheridan for 10 years. My bad.
pretty much.
Oh, Jesus, bro.
All of them. Davis campus,
Dude, they gotta put your name up there.
HMC. Yeah, I went to all of them. But
They should sponsor you.
I actually love Sheridan because it was more intimate. Like you weren't just a number, right? College or sorry, universities.
You're very much a number.
a
Yeah.
number. But at Sheridan, you were actually like in classes. We only had about 20 to 30 people in our classes, and we had the same class of 30 people for the entire 4 years.
Oh wow.
So like you build bonds with basically everybody in their class.
Yeah.
And so you're not just building friendships, but you're building like real world connections where like this person's going to that field and this person's going to that field. So you kind of have like everything covered. Like you know somebody in like every field, accounting or marketing, all because of that one program.
Did you ever link out to those or reach out to those people that you had?
So I actually did get another one of my friends hired at the previous company as well. So it was me, Andrew, and then a third person. And basically, like I think he's still at the previous company.
He's like, nah.
Yeah, well, he
here.
switched to sales, I think, and I think he's doing well now for
Yeah.
himself. But yeah, it was just cool seeing like everyone just grow up together. It's not like like university, you switch class and you never get to see those.
You're banished.
So in Sheridan, that's one of the great things was like that you were together and you're all learning together. And like if you guys need notes, like everyone has like the notes ready. Like it was more like a community versus, like I said, just a number.
It's crazy you mentioned that because like I think that was the biggest, like when you're in high school, and you correct me if I'm wrong, I think in high school there's this misconception of college and university, right? Like you took college classes in high school, you were like a dumbass almost,
Facts.
right? Or you're just not, you
You
couldn't
weren't
be
the guy.
you weren't that guy, you weren't him. And there's kids that did the university program and still went to college just so they can be like, oh, I'm.
But I actually did my degree at a college
Mm.
because Sheridan started offering bachelor's degrees, bachelor's of applied sciences, business administration, everything. So you're getting the same degree you would get at university, but it's just a more intimate class.
I really wish I had more of that experience because my university experience was very much a number. Like I had certain friends in certain grades. It was a good experience for sure. Like it taught me, stress management, time management, being professional and whatnot.
Yeah.
But the also things they taught me was, being a pothead, stress, and just more stress.
Yeah.
And I think for me, the biggest thing when you say intimacy, and the reason why I think this kind of speaks volumes about that particular topic is that I remember getting my first 60/40 exam. I remember sitting there, like, you're telling me that I just paid $4,000 and you're going to say this
60%
of my grade is on this piece of paper, multiple choice,
Yeah.
MC. And I'm like,
Yeah. Imagine like all year just for that one.
right. And what if you're a bad tester?
Yeah.
I fail?
It happens.
Yeah. So just hearing the opposite side. I remember at one point I actually did want to switch to college.
Yeah.
But just even making that jump of like, is my course is going to transfer over, credit's going to transfer? That was just, I was like, you know what? I'm already like.
So I did manage to transfer a lot of my courses and credits for first year, and then obviously second, third, fourth year is a different
Yeah, it
story.
doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter as much. But yeah, so like everything was pretty much like a smooth transition. And then it led into my digital marketing one, and that was just a certificate, but it was still very helpful
Yeah, for sure. Especially when you're going
on your resume. Everything just looks good. And then project management was huge. I'd recommend project management to everybody. So project management, like they have courses at Sheridan. I think they have them at UTM. And it's just like it counts towards your project management hours as well, because I think you need a certain number of hours for project management. So it's good that taking those classes, like just learning and just being back in class, counts towards your work hours. So that's actually a great tool for everyone, especially if you're looking to advance your career. Project management is definitely one of the ways to go.
It's crazy you mentioned it too. So I'm coming from the tech side of things, of like tech sales, and we have project managers, we have product managers as well. And our always example of project managers is like, you're doing the right thing, right? And then you're following through, right? And you're just like, yeah.
It's just about being on top.
Is that what it is?
You're just managing everyone.
Because I'm not gonna lie, I've been in meetings where we have a project manager and we have a product manager, right? And then we have all the sales guys, and I can obviously do it in a status meeting or like a quick sprint of like what we need to accomplish for certain clients.
Yeah.
And in these meetings, I hear the project manager being like, "So is this done? This is done, right?" And then all of us are just like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Who paid this guy?"
He's just there.
He's just there. So I was just curious. And so what was the biggest, for people who want to pursue in project management, what are some jobs? Does it apply for all fields across the board?
There's multiple types of fields. There's like IT project management, there's construction project management. You can go into any field you really like. So that's one of the beauties of it. It's so diverse. Like you'll find something that's for you.
Can you be a self-proclaimed project manager?
You could.
I'm trying to still. I'm trying to.
Yeah, it's just a couple letters after your name.
I'm like, I manage projects at home.
That is one of the criteria to take your final project management exam. You have to show them like you worked on X amount of projects, X amount of hours.
What's the criteria for passing?
I'm not sure about passing. I think they changed it recently because they added like a whole new section of the textbook, and so that's like the new focus for the future. It's called like agile methodology. But they do look at your hours and see like how you've managed projects in the past. Basically, are you ready to take that next step?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because I think I might try doing that myself. Because
yeah, it's definitely a great tool for anyone looking to advance their career.
I was in a project manager myself.
Yeah, I've worked on myself for X amount of years.
I've taken these obstacles that I faced myself in the mirror, and now I'm still here. So I'm making progress over here. I'm sorry?
You've overcome.
I've overcome those, yeah. And what was your
adversity?
What was your success rate? 2,000%. What do you mean? I killed it.
You're here now, aren't you?
I'm killing it. Just kidding. That'll be a really funny thing to ask. Because the reason I brought that up is because like I've seen project managers in the workplace, and I never knew how they came to be, but they do own a good role. They do own a position where I felt like they kept people honest. They kept people on track. I felt more, I wouldn't say pressured, but like, God, someone's gonna put me on the spot tomorrow. Yeah. Like I'd be on the call and knowing that it's gonna be brought up, and I'm gonna be like, I don't have an answer yet, but I know that I have to have something for him.
Yeah, it is a very important role. Like, it's somebody to keep everything flowing.
And knowing, understand the lingo, the verbiage.
Yeah. Sometimes in like construction, because like things go like crazy all the time. Like it's important to be on top of all of that.
Oh, for sure.
But yeah, like I said, there's something for everyone. Like there's different fields for everyone.
So as you mentioned construction, I did my basement recently, and having a project manager would have definitely helped for sure.
So it's off schedule.
It's just off schedule. Someone just to be there. We gonna do this at this time.
Yeah,
You know, this is,
I think I'm gonna be the project manager for my basement.
yeah, I think you have to be. I know.
I already got my Google Sheets. And
Yeah, no, you
like
you
tracking
need
everything.
structure. You're like, this, we're laying this out today. This is gonna be done. You see, a guy taking a
Especially
break.
because you're putting up so much money.
So
too.
much
Like,
money.
you
It's
want
like
to
six
be on
figures.
top of
Yeah, for
basically
sure.
now, especially like Brampton. You want to be on top of it, right? Like you want to know that your dollar is being spent as well as it should be.
Yeah, 100%. That's something I didn't realize how things got expensive post COVID, but it was crazy.
Yeah.
But no, I definitely do think
Everything
having,
skyrocketed.
if I could pay a project manager on the side and shave off some of the costs that I inherited,
Yeah.
I'll be okay with that.
Yeah, I think they're charging like crazy.
No,
For
it's
project
ridiculous
management
now.
and for basements.
So, you know, we have a circle of friends, right? Would you ever hire any of your circle of friends in at work?
Depends on the role.
Yeah, let's just say someone that's
Sales, probably not.
Why not?
They'll show up drunk in the meeting. What do you want me to do?
Which one are you not? Who's the show drunk?
I'm not gonna say the names, but they know who they are. It depends on the skill. Like it depends on what you're looking for, right?
Yeah.
HR or sales, marketing. I feel like if I were to hire anybody, they would do well at it. Like because they know it's a representation of me.
For sure.
Yeah. So like they wouldn't want to let me down. They wouldn't want to let themselves down.
For sure.
They might suck at it,
Shit.
but they'll try their best.
Yo, no about that.
I probably would hire a few people.
Yeah, no, I would too. If I had my own business and you know, if I needed support for sure, I definitely lean on your circle of friends for sure. People who are good at their roles.
Yeah.
I think the key part is that they're good at their roles. I think
Yeah, but it does become like a thin line when you start hiring
for
friends
sure.
and family.
And then you get confused of like, do I tell them to shut up now?
Yeah, because there's like a level of respect,
Yeah.
and then salaries and
Oh, that's where it gets
like
sticky.
that. Like
Money.
it becomes a little messy when you start working with friends and family. So
I think I'm a big believer. You don't mix family and business together.
Yeah.
I know some people disagree with it. I just think it makes things super sticky,
I
and
think it slows things down.
it slows things down.
Then you have a second opinion.
Yeah.
It's like
You can't voice your opinion.
yeah,
Mhm.
and then you risk getting into an argument, breaking apart the family, or
Yeah,
little issues come up.
the stress that your mom's questioning you at home.
Yeah, and then they're always in your business too, right? Like they know like everything you're doing.
Oh my God, I can't imagine.
Because I like to have like a little bit of privacy.
For sure.
Like I'm not like a super flashy guy or anything, but like I do like to keep my privacy. And like you said, mixing family and business would like take that away.
Yeah, no, it's something I'm definitely against, and I probably won't do. I don't even have a business of my own yet, so I'll just take a
It
rain.
also depends on the business too.
Yeah, I think it depends on the business as well. I'll take a rain check on that because I can't even imagine if I had my camera guys here as some of the guys in our group because
It would be like paranormal activity.
yeah,
Like shaky cam.
I'd be shaking the camera. I guarantee 5 seconds in, yo, want to get a shot, guys? You guys down? So thankfully, these guys don't take
At
shots.
the bar, half of them are
Yeah, I know. Half of them would be like, oh, wait,
Osmo.
which was speaking? Laziz.
Disease.
Shout out to the homie on Laziz.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
All right, man. As we're getting close to the end of the show, and I really do appreciate, man, you being here and being on the first episode
I
here.
appreciate being here. It was a blessing.
I appreciate it, man. But I did want to sort of ask one question for you, and I'm going to ask all my guests the same question. What is one piece of advice that you would give, and to anybody that's trying to get into your industry? And two, what is one piece of advice you give to us?
Something about getting into the industry, like we said before, you gotta just take the leap. If you feel like it's something for you, go for it. And if you're gonna do it wholeheartedly. Do a bit of research first. Obviously, know what you're getting into, but just be prepared that not everything is gonna be perfect. You have to understand that you have to put the work in. It's not gonna be perfect. Things are gonna go wrong, and it's up to you to figure out how to deal with it. So don't expect everything to be so like 100% right away. And then, sorry, what was the second question?
Advice for me.
Do things wholeheartedly. Help where you can. Help other people where you can. We're all doing this for the first time. Like, just be nice to people. Take care of people. Take care of your family. Take care of your friends.
So don't pursue my passions of being an NBA player.
I think that ship is
No, I appreciate it, man. I think that's really good advice for anybody in general. I don't even think that matters whether it's business or not. I think that's just overall for life. I think that makes you just a good.
we all get so caught up in our lives, and you forget to check in on your friends or your family. Like I said, we're all doing this for the first time. Show a bit of grace to some people. Like help them out where you can if they need a bit of help. Just be a good person.
Yeah, I 100% agree. That touched my soul. I wish I had a respawn, but I don't. So
Yeah, got you stumped.
yeah, you got me stumped. I wish I had a respawn so I could be like, psych, I can respawn. No, I can't. So
Not Halo.
yeah, no, it's not him. Well, I appreciate you coming here this week and being on the very first episode. And
Appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate
I appreciate you. I'll see you guys next week.
Take care.